What's cooking, GumboNation? You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Dwayne Stein, the Gulf South Mortgage Authority, where for 8+ years we have been the home show for you, providing education and options to folks just like yourself when it comes to your most valuable asset, your home. Hey, if you want to join the show, 504-260-0995, or if you want to shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. That's info@mortgagegumbo.com. Want to bring in my co-host, James Parker, on the show today. We're going to be talking about, everybody starts to try to get a little bit, they think they're coming up with this super secret, right? When you got 7% rates. So, James, and what's great about us is we can always go back and pull previous shows where we've talked. So all these realtors are going, well, a lender's telling me about a buy down, a rate buy down. Yeah, we've been doing that, right? So we'll talk about that today on the show, because what right now is about is education. Plain and simple, period. It's education so you can know exactly what's going on in the market that we have right now. We're not trying to put lipstick on the pig. That's not what we do here on Mortgage Gumbo. What we do is we bring you the pig and go, look at it. It's ugly. It's dirty. It's disgusting. But there's some bacon on there. There's a little ham on there. So we're going to give you the facts. That's why this show is so wildly popular. And, I really think, James, we've got our Hump Day Holler, which our final segment today is just going to be that speed round that you gave me on Wednesday about credit. And we embrace the credit suck, right? We just embrace it because at the end of the day, credit's right up there with air and water. So we embrace that and that Hump Day Holler. But I really think, there's so much more when we're talking during the week on just everything going on. I mean, we literally could be doing a show every single day. And maybe we just got to really start considering a little bit more of that, because as I meet with so many realtors over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's a shame on just how much just information that they want. And the good realtors, James, like we are, they want to do what's right by the client, period. Right? And then the others are trying to be Facebook gurus. Right? And look, I sold another property, or look, I did this. And I can look them up. And there's people out there who amazingly sold a property, and it's just a straight up fib. And we're not going to sit here and call people out. But what's unfortunate, James, is that seller that goes and tries and hire this person, or that buyer. That's where the unfortunate part comes in. And I'll give you a story, and then I like to talk. Hey, we had a good night of football. We got, but kind of and this goes along with the agent meetings and a client story this week. We've got a client we worked with for 1 year to get their credit in check. When they came to us, they were in the 400s. We don't say no. We say not now. We got their credit to where it needed to be. And nobody knows loyalties to the pocketbook more than me. And you don't do a show for 8 years, throw in another couple years with Gregory Ricks, and be out and have everything out there and be successful and grow if you're not doing what's right by people. Right, James? It's that simple. So we had a client. We took them from 400s to get them qualified. Well, all right, loyalties to the pocketbook. This client, who has their cousin's aunt, uncle, whatever it is a friend, is a realtor. And that realtor, who, by the way, has booked 1 loan all year and 2 loans in the last 3 years, said, hey, I want you to go use my lender. Now, you would think that the year I spent helping them get their credit where it needs to be, there'd be a little bit of, hey, what's up? But how do I find out that he's cheating on me, so to speak, is he goes and gets his credit pulled by another lender. So I get the notice, I call, because I'm like the FBI. If you're my client, if you're, what's the movie, Godfather? If you're in the circle, baby, I'm looking out for you. So if you go get your credit pulled by somebody else, I'm going to see it. So I reach out, and all of a sudden, this borrower that for over a year helped out has stuttering problems because they know they're wrong, right? So this realtor takes this borrower, not knowing anything about them and what they qualify for, over to a lender who puts them in a program that, number one, he will not qualify for. Because the realtors, as we talk about, James, they get Cinderella. So it's not necessarily the realtor's fault, but the realtor, instead of, hey, you've been calling me going, hey, what do we have here? No, this realtor that's done 2 loans in 3 years, hey, you're going to use my guy. When you do 2 loans in 3 years, you don't have a guy, right? So what they do is they go out, and James, when you do the amount of volume I do and my team does, when you've closed now over 3 years, close to 2,000 loans, you're out there. So I'm seeing a lot of transactions. So what this realtor does is they go show them a condo, get a loan for a condo that they do not qualify for. The program don't qualify. And you want to know how I know that, James? Because, see, we've had a buyer who tried to buy at this address in this condo. And we know that this condo association hides their money and is not willing to give the things. So what do? We could easily go, hey, let's sit around and watch this dude lose his money. But the realtor convinces this guy who, keep in mind, got his credit up over 150 points, that I don't know what I'm talking about. So goes and gets an inspection. That's 550 dropped. What inspection don't say, does the condo do this or the condo have this amount of reserves? Goes and gets the appraisal. Another 550. Bam! 1,100 in. And you know who I got a call from? Little Johnny, who went off the reservation, 9:30 last night. All of a sudden, after a year of taking care of, wiping their butt, right, putting a diaper on them, went off the reservation. I get a call at 9:30 last night, and I'm in the middle of the Titans game, so I can't answer. And I get I'm sorry, please call me tomorrow so we can discuss. I want you to give me a realtor that you work with, and I want to work with you. And, James, what frustrates me there is people who are buying right now are buying out of want. Not necessarily, probably more need than want. And those are the things on why I'm telling everybody here. And last week we mentioned it. If you are thinking about selling your house, I'm your guy. Don't call your friend, who's this one, who's that one. There's nobody that you deal with. There's no realtor out there you're going to deal with that has closed more loans than my team. There's no one realtor that's seen the amount of transactions I've done. Right? You take the greatest realtor who's doing 150 deals a month, a year. James, I'm doing 4 times that amount.
So the one thing I'm picking up here is, the information is solid. What you're giving me in black and white is, stuff that people need to know. But the human side of this, you sound a little jealous, Dwayne. You sound a little hurt.
I am. It's hurtful because I do this every year, and for 8 years, I take pride in educating the GumboNation. And it's funny because, it's hurt because when I see someone post something on Facebook that isn't true, it does bother me because when it comes to purchasing a home, we can't get this wrong, especially in today's market, right? If last year you bought a home and you got 2.625, and you're upset, maybe you overpaid, we'll get through that. Right now, if you're being told a program, and this going back to the client story, James, this is a guy who ain't got an extra $1,100. So now what happens, right? And I don't know. I got to talk to him and see what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I'm not jealous. I'm upset because I care. And I know that sounds cliche. Yes, of course you care. Well, guess what? The folks listening to this show, James, they already know that. That's why they listen. That's why they refer their sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, cousins. You know, that's why they refer them. So that's why, yes, for me, it is personal because I don't want to see people getting this wrong. And that's where, when we're looking at it as a whole here, folks, you got to right now more than ever, just make sure you know who you're dealing with. And that's why I'm telling you, if you call me, Mortgage Gumbo, 2 people this week called from last week, me just talking about it. House was on the market for 60 days. I chatted with him, got the information, got an agent out there to go look at it. It wasn't priced right. They were trying to sell it as a certain type of home in a certain market that it's not attractive. Right? You can't say, hey, home qualifies for rural development when right now rural development rates are at 6.5%, 7%, and nobody's going to qualify for it. So let's qualify it as, hey, guess what? Seller paid closing costs. And amazingly, boom, these 2 houses have got looks at them and probably going to go under contract in a week when they sat for months under somebody who, guess what? Just pass the test. I'm a realtor. Let me knock the sign down.
All right, still coming up on the show, we're going to end the last segment with nothing but advice on how to help your credit score, things that do help your credit score, things that don't help your credit score, things you're doing that have no effect on your credit score. And we're loading you up because Dwayne's doing a credit webinar. What is this, coming up Tuesday?
No, that's a budget webinar coming, but we do have a credit one that is going to be coming up in the next, I think I got it scheduled 2 weeks from out. So we'll be letting folks know on that.
Yeah, budget webinar coming up on Tuesday. And then when we get back from the break here, you had a guest on last week, and there was a nice community response to where, look, people do things that we say on the air, but this one was larger than usual, and it was for a great cause. So we're going to give you, the listening audience, a little bit of credit when we get back here.
Yep.
And we still have to talk about this jobs report.
Yep.
And the reporting on the jobs report is among the most heinous I have seen in the history of journalism. And so we'll go crunch all the real story behind the numbers that you're seeing in the news this week. In the meantime, phone lines are open, 504-260-0995. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein, and I'm James Parker on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't it tempting to just say their name, though? I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't.
No, I can't, man.
Right.
That's one thing I've learned. That's one thing I've learned.
Though. So tempting. It's like, I've got this microphone, and I know thousands of people.
Yes, and you know, it's funny because I've become, all of a sudden, I've become the most. I got somebody instant message me and says, "Hey, I'm a realtor. I think you should have me on my show because I talk funny, and I think it would be a big hit." I'm like, how does that help my audience? How does that help? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here?
What am I supposed to make fun of a list?
This isn't a comedy show. I mean, I'm comical. We like to keep it loose, but it's not like, that's my whole thought. These are people that they're reaching the desperation point, James.
I know you're making a $500,000. I know you're making a $500,000 transaction, so use this guy with the lisp.
Right. Or they're from the Bayou, and you know, and I said, well, have we worked together before? No, but I refer all my clients over to you. Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna go heat up my coffee in the microwave.
Yep.
I can't tell if that annoyed you at all, honestly, Dwayne. I wish you would get emotional.
I know, man. It just, and that's what my employees are like, dude. It can't all be personal, but it is. That's why I do this show, right? Like,
No, you're perfectly like,
man, it just bothers me because it's your house, like we've talked about, Jeremy. I mean, it's just, especially right now, man. It's. Man.
well, I think you should use that. I mean, but you did a great job of showing that. Look, if you've got questions, if you hear something, come to me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you something you're not going to hear from another guy.
Correct.
And I'm going to do my best because I know you. You've worked with me for years. I know your situation better than some rando that you just decided to reach out for.
Right.
Or even just give me a heads up and say, I mean, it's like you're dating. Like, you want to see other people? Just let me know.
That's fine. Yeah, let's just, hey, right. I tell people all the time, hey, look, you know what I tell them? Go out.
30 seconds.
Let somebody see what they can do for you and then come back to me because nobody beats what we do. We've got the cheapest rates, the cheapest fees, the closing costs, all that over everybody. So, it's almost like, and that's a whole show. When people call and go, hey, what's your rates? Dude, the rates changed.
Stand by, I got about 10 seconds.
Welcome back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. 504-260-0995. Or if you want to shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. If you're not already a member, hey, you're missing out. But go join the Facebook group, GumboNation. There's an imposter out there, so it's the one with the city skyline. So go join that. On Tuesday from 6 to 7. We did one during the middle of the day, and it was so successful. I said, you know what? I'm going to take some time away from my personal schedule. We're going to do, because right now we need to start figuring out what the heck is a budget, and we got to get back to it, right? So we are going to be discussing on Tuesday what is a budget. Not only that, I'm going to give you tools. I'm going to give you spreadsheets. I'm going to give you how to work your budget, how to develop a budget. So we're more than just, hey, Mortgage Gumbo here, mortgage guy trying to book a bunch of loans. No, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get you to understand that right now it's survival time. It's survival time. And we're going to talk in a second about that. So, but hey, shout out to, got to do my weekly personal, hey, shout out to Lakeshore Titans last night. Great game against they started district against Salmon Spartans, who came and fought hard, and the game was in limbo till about 3 minutes left. Gavin, my son, number 15, had a fumble recovery, probably had 6 to 8 tackles, just all around fantastic game. So super proud there. It was senior night, so they brought me out of retirement because they wanted the voice of the Titans to be there. So it was really, really nice. But now, James, I understand when they say a Karen, right? What is it? Karen is the one that complains about everything.
So you met one?
Yeah. Well, what is the dude name for that? Car?
A Chad.
A Chad?
Yeah.
Lakeshore has a Chad, and I'm not going to mention who it is because probably wouldn't be good since my son goes to school there, and it's somebody that's on the payroll. But Lakeshore has an absolute Chad. So I go in to play some music before the game to get the kids hyped up, right? And I know parents may not understand this, but when you come to watch a game, band parents, cheer parents, dance parents, football parents, it's not about you. It's about that short 4 years that these kids have, right? So I try to make that, and this is why I stopped doing it, because of people like this Chad at Lakeshore. And this guy, I played 10 seconds of a song. Not a bad song, James. Not alcohol, let's kill, let's murder, let's, shoot up, Pope 504, nothing. A nice popular song that's played on radio, played on TikTok, and 10 seconds of it. And it's probably the most exercise this guy's gotten in years. He comes running up
Okay.
to the press box. Turn off that music now. I'm like, why? He goes, I've had more than 50 people complain that they're offended. I'm like, dude, it's 6:15, James. Like, so outside of the senior parents that are there,
there,
50 people there, bro.
and you can't talk to 50 people in 10 seconds anyway.
So I said, okay, you got a playlist? He said, no. I said, okay, so give me some songs you want to play. Well, that's not my job. Well, it's your job to come up here and complain about what everybody. So afterwards, there was about 40 parents that went to this Chad and said, just let the guy play the music. Like, dude, we had the stadium rocking. I mean, it's an experience, man. You know, and you know it's good when you see the other team dancing, when you see grandmas dancing, right? Because let's just have an experience, man. That's the fun thing. So, but anyway, kudos to Coach Indas. All the Lakeshore, man, got the win here. So excited about that. We're moving on. And then, you know, what do? My son goes from, we're scholars, man. And, you know, so kid's got a 4.3 GPA, plays ball last night. And then, you know what? That's why I got to roll out today. We going to get him confirmed, man. You know, we got our priorities in order. So we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then we're going to go get him knocked out and confirmed. Yeah, right. Look around, no lightning. And as I say that, I've got a shirt on that says just another sexy-ass ball-headed guy, right? So, I mean, but, you know, I'll dress up a little bit better when it comes to church. But let's talk about James' community, man. It's important to me. You know that. I've learned that from you. I learned that from Gregory, you know, just all those years of the importance of giving back to the community. And last week we were able to have Vicky Bailey on, who everybody knows somebody's been touched by breast cancer, right? And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We had Vicky on last week and to talk about, and her event, it's neat. It's a stroll, and it's called Pink with a Purpose. And, you know, she's partnered up with some great folks, Justice Event and Design and Promotions. You're looking at Girard Street Market, St. Anne Wine Bar, Go Title will be out there. And look, it's October, and it's going to be a fantastic event. But last week we mentioned, and I just want to say kudos to the listeners. She got dozens of calls, people calling her going, hey, how can I help? Where can I donate? And that's what's just, you know, it's amazing. And we see it going on in Florida with the hurricane and just everything, that no matter what's going on, man, as a whole, you take away probably about 36 people in the world. And it's in the world, we're all pretty good dudes and dudettes. And so go out today, go to St. Anne, starting at 3:00. They got a sip and stroll. You can check in. There's booths out there. They've got the Electrics are going to be playing tonight. They've got all kinds of great games going on. There's a bra contest. Look, we know what it's all about. Save the Tatas. It's going to be a fantastic event. They've partnered up with Unite, which is a great, great organization. So that's going to be going out tonight. Come by our Mortgage Gumbo booth. Say hi. We'll have some promotional items for you as well. For some of y'all who remember Sammy, the intern, he'll be there helping out. So, you know, these are heartwarming things. These are things that remind you of, with everything going on, you know, this is the personal stuff that you got to kind of sit back and go, all right, let's keep our eye on the prize of what's important, right? And
well, I love giving the audience credit because
absolutely, man.
Last Saturday, people listened to this show and then they acted and they sacrificed something. It wasn't much, you know, whatever you donated, you could afford it. It's not like your kids are going to go hungry. But if you had taken your car, gotten totally drunk and ran it into someone's house, you would have made the news last Saturday. But you had a bigger impact on the community, on your fellow human beings, and you made the world a better place, and you didn't make the news for it. And I think that stinks. But I mean, I understand why that happens, but you know what? If no one else is going to give you a little bit of shine, let's take a few minutes of Dwayne's time here and fill in that gap. We'll give you credit. We'll thank you. You're not going to get it anywhere else, and that's why we wanted to do it, precisely because you're not going to get, and you did the right thing.
Yeah.
This stuff should be celebrated more. So
Yeah. No,
we'll
so
do it.
kudos. Gumbo Nation, you are the best. You know that. But like James said, we just want to remind you, you've always stepped up, no matter what. And I love you for it. And that's why, hey, you go back and go, why am I passionate? Why am I? Because these are the kind of people I got listening. So I don't want this same person who, has this heart to be misled down a different road. And, so, hey, let's knock out as we get up against our next break here. Let's because on the other side, I want us to talk about jobs report, James, and all that stuff going on. And I think what we're going to do is this buy down. Hey, we're going to tease that Wednesday. We'll talk about what's a buy down. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we've got some more important stuff that's going to be happening that we want to talk about right now. So let's do our weekly segment we like to call Rate Watch. Rate Watch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. It's America's first handcrafted vodka. So for folks who call and, maybe you're new to the show, maybe you pick up something and go, hey, let me go see what this is about. What I'm about to tell you is why we have Snap, Send, and Save that cam. Okay? Because you can't just call and go, hey, what are your rates? Folks, it don't work like that. And if you talk to any nincompoop, schmuckatelli, who you call and go, what are your rates? And they can just give you a number, man, run. Because it's not authentic and it's not real. Nobody could do that. Listen, and here's why. Last week, 30-year conventional, 6.79. This week, 7.12. That's 7. Go back and listen. Go back and listen to 20 years ago, whatever your top movie was, whatever your top song was, because that's been how long before we've had 7% interest rates.
So we're talking about like Shrek and Nelly.
Right. It's getting hot in here.
Coming up on a break.
30 years, 7.12. 15, 6.35. FHA up from 650 to 662. Jumbo from 585 to 610. 5-1 arm, 6.05, 6.45. And veterans, 660 to 669. Folks, it's a number on a piece of paper. So when you go to snapsendandsave.com and you fill out purchase or refi, so we can do a free analysis for you, FREE. Close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. That's your cost. That's why we need that information so we can put a plan together. These rates are changing daily, multiple times. Hey, on the other side of the break, the jobs report came out. What does that mean? Next week, we get the Fed is coming out with the CPI inflation numbers. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Dude, I'm reading the scroll as I'm trying to.
Stop it. You can't do that. You can't distract yourself like that.
Dude, I didn't read it, but as I'm saying it, I'm reading. I mean, and it's like, oh my God. Right, ladies. I am single, and please don't hog the phone line.
Okay, this next segment's going to be just under 8.5 minutes.
All right, good.
All right, Dwayne, you can hear the music better than me. So if when you hear the music, just cut me off.
Okay. Yep, we'll do.
Well, I'll just because it's such a hard out and so early, I will do the 2 minute,
All
1
right.
minute, 30
Okay.
seconds.
All right.
So, Dwayne, this article you sent me is among the worst articles in the history of journalism.
I mean, right?
But it's every freaking time with these guys. Like, when did CNBC become such a bunch of hacks?
Well, it's and you got to give it to like a Diana Olick, for instance. who's gotten it wrong 98.9% of the time.
Hey, were you expecting a Gabriel to call? He said he was supposed to call last week, but he's calling now.
That's fine. Yeah, no, let's have Gabe. Gabe's a customer, so hey, we let's give him some airtime. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Where's he from?
Hammond. I just didn't know if you thought you had enough time for him to do both.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean it really is, James, and it comes down to headlines versus data, right? You know.
Do we know what his call's about? I'm typing in a caption for him.
Gabe's a client. I'm hoping it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Gotta love live radio.
One of the worst articles in the history of journalism.
Well, at what point, James, aren't we just called economists? I mean, everything we're talking about, and we can go back and prove what we said in March, April, May, June, is coming up right now.
Well, here's the deal. I hate to cut you off, but
I'm back.
Welcome back. You're listening to Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Steiner right here on iHeartRadio, 504-260-0995. Hey, if you want to join the show, just told you, 504-260. Home away from the show is mortgagegumbo.com, or call me. We got weekend warriors, 504-207-7600. Hey, we got somebody on the line, Gabe and Hammond. Gabe and Hammond, how can we help you out today, bud?
Well, I'm just calling in to say thanks for being exactly what you say you are. You get the job done when it comes to getting a mortgage.
Oh, is this Mr. Adams?
Yes.
How you doing, man? Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and man, that means a lot to me. Especially, hey, if you've been listening to the show today, you kind of, look, perfect example, right? You're buying in a time where is it optimal when it came to rates? No, but we kind of showed you, hey, let's go get you pre-approved and kind of what those benefits were. And lo and behold, my man, we got you to you won the house, you got in, we got you closed up, and in record time too, I might add, right?
Yeah, it all went very smoothly. The sellers received our offer along with another offer at the same time, but your fast track approval process carried extra weight with their realtor and the buyers, and so they ended up accepting our offer. And you and your staff were right there with us all along the way, getting everything tied up in a nice bow. And we were really approved and cleared to close early. We just had some other time constraints involved that had nothing to do with you guys at Mortgage Gumbo. But it all went great. We closed Friday. Just my hand tired from signing my name so much.
Yeah. Well, hey, we don't. Trees are not our friend, right? I mean, unfortunately, but and that's even after you do the digital, right? So you can imagine what it used to be, But I appreciate that, Mr. Gabe. Thanks. And what Mr. Gabe, what you're mentioning there, that fast track, what that was the $5,000 guarantee, right? We got you through underwriting in less than 48 hours. And I remember, it's funny because it comes back. You were a little, hey, why do I have to need that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, lo and behold, hey, you know what? You beat out that other person because when you had it, they knew you were serious about buying a house. And, hey, if we don't close in time, Mortgage Gumbo is going to give the seller $5,000. And that's what's awesome because we put our clients first. And you're the man. I can't thank you enough for calling in. We'll make sure we save this and we'll share this with our listeners going forward, Mr. Gabe. Thank you so much, and congrats on your new home and starting that new chapter, my man.
Thank you so much for everything you did.
Thank you, sir. Well, Parker, I feel better now, right? You just need one, and that's what it's all about, right? So all that frustration when you get that call on helping, Mr. Gabe and his fiance. I mean, that to me, that's what it's all about right there, man.
Well, it's also, the fact that you didn't just provide him the opportunity to get a mortgage, you made sure he won the bidding war.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool too.
We put
Hey,
our money where our mouth is.
can we squeeze in a little more business? Because coming up in the last segment, we're going to answer a bunch of quick questions about how to get your credit score up. But you sent me this jobs report, and it looks good. I mean, 3.5% unemployment. How can you complain about that?
Right.
However, there's a bunch of howevers here.
Yeah.
We know they're fudging the numbers. We know that we're still 2 million workers short from before the pandemic that aren't being counted as unemployed anymore. So really the number isn't that bad. If you add those back in, the unemployment rate would be somewhere around 5%, maybe 5.5%, which is still pretty good. But that being said, what's your take on the jobs report? What's the real story behind the numbers?
The real story is what unfortunately, and this is what stinks, and it's hard to even believe to say this, but the more jobs means the pain you feeling right now isn't even it. You're in the water. You think you got stung by the jellyfish. You felt something, but until you get out the water and walk on the beach, then you start to feel that real pain. We're not even close yet, Parker. And this jobs report, which what I have to believe is going to tie in with next week's inflation numbers. If people are still hiring, James, regardless, and they're fudging the numbers like we talk about, that means the Fed hasn't tightened things up enough. So can you imagine there's still not just some, a lot more pain on the way. A lot more, James.
Well, see, the reason why this is still important, even though we know these are fudged numbers, is because decisions are based off of these numbers. And the Fed, is hinting very strongly that, if the numbers come out a certain way, then they're going to keep raising the rates. And so now you sent me this other article from CNBC where it sounds like the narrative that they want going forward is expect another rate increase in the next 3 meetings that sort of taper down.
Right.
And so what they're really doing is just sort of backfilling a narrative to decisions that they're making on the fly. And like you said 2 weeks ago, these people have no idea what they're doing.
Can you imagine? It's just like that somebody goes out there and sells that Dwayne Stein is 6'4", 210 and an Adonis, and they just sell it. And then you're looking at me going, dude, I'm seeing 5'9.5", 5'10", a little stocky. Right? But they just keep selling it. So what happens? People eventually just go, where do you get your information from? It's why we talk every week on this. We're data driven, not headline driven, because all they are doing is the person putting out this report is helping them so they can go and hammer down and just pound us with another, which we already said, 75 basis point high. It's done. In my opinion, it's done. And yes. I hope it's done because, again, like most of us, we don't know what's coming, which is why I'm doing a budget webinar. But trying to get you to understand when I say we just got to get on the other side of this is let's just get where we need to be so everybody can figure out what their new lifestyle is and let's move forward. And quit hammering away on credit cards and different things like that.
2 reasons why you can't trust some of these media outlets when they're talking about a story. I'm looking at like a 35 paragraph article about inflation, and it never points out that inflation is 8% year over year. It doesn't say that once in this whole narrative on where they're talking about inflation for 35 paragraphs. And the other thing that they don't ever mention in inflation is maybe a cause or a tangent or a factor is the fact that we have over $1 trillion deficit going every year where they're just printing $1 trillion. That doesn't even come up in 35 paragraphs. So
correct.
So you know they're not telling you the whole story. This is garbage reporting.
It's horrible, but that's why we're here. That's why we're here every Saturday. That's why we've got our podcast. Follow us. Go to Mortgage Gumbo on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Our Hump Day Holla, the GumboNation on Facebook. I'm heading out. I'm going to get my religion on. And then, but hey, we're going to answer a bunch of questions that James threw at me that we put together for you. So I'm heading out. Till next week, GumboNation. Keep stirring that pot. And hey, we will be here for you. Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio, 260-0995. All right, gents.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right, Porcine, you the man, brother.
All right. I'm going to roll the sponsors for a sec.